I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter is a book written for any young Hispanic girl that might feel out of place in the mix of Spanish and American culture that clashes across the United States every day. Written by Erica L. Sanchez, this book focuses on a young teenage Latina in Chicago named Julia. Julia constantly feels stuck between her parents' old school traditional Mexican ways and being her own woman in the modern world. After the death of her older sister Olga, who by the way was her parents' favorite daughter, Julia and her family begin grieving and tearing each other apart. Unable to move on from Olga's death, Julia's mom begins to point out every one of Julia's failures, and her father becomes more uncaring and distant than he's ever been. With her family wishing Olga had lived and Julia had died, Julia wishes she could just disappear. But after discovering some sexy lingerie and a hotel room key hidden in her sister's bedroom, Julia begins to question whether or not she knew who her sister was, and whether or not her sister truly was a perfect Mexican daughter. Stay tuned for a preview of the book.
What surprised me most about seeing my sister dead is the lingering smirk on her face. Her pale lips are turned up ever so slightly, and someone has filled in her patchy eyebrows with a black pencil. The top half of her face is angry, like she's ready to stab someone, and the bottom half is almost smug. This is not the Olga I knew. Olga was as meek and fragile as a baby bird. I wanted her to wear the pretty purple dress that didn't hide her body like all of her other outfits did, but Ama chose the bright yellow one with the pink flowers I've always hated. It was so unstylish, so classically Olga. It made her either 4 or 80 years old. I could never decide which. Her hair is just as bad as the dress. Tight, crunchy curls that remind me of a rich lady's poodle. How cruel to let her look like that. The bruises and gashes on her cheeks are masked with thick coats of cheap foundation, making her face haggard, even though she was only 22. Don't they pump your body full of strange chemicals to prevent your skin from stretching and puckering, to keep your face from resembling a rubber mask? Where did they find this mortician? The flea market? My poor older sister had a special talent for making herself less attractive. She was skinny and had an okay body, but she always managed to make it look like a sack of potatoes. Her face was pale and plain, never a single drop of makeup. What a waste. I'm no fashion icon, far from it, but I do feel strongly against dressing like the elderly. Now she's doing it from beyond the grave, but this time it's not even her fault. Olga never looked or acted like a normal 22-year-old. It made me mad sometimes. Here she was, a grown-ass woman, and all she did was go to work, sit at home with our parents, and take one class each semester at the local community college. Every once in a while, she'd go shopping with Ama or go to the movies with her best friend Angie to watch terrible romantic comedies about clumsy but adorable blonde women who fall in love with architects in the streets of New York City. What kind of life is that? Didn't she want more? Didn't she ever want to go out and grab the world by the balls? Ever since I could pick up a pen, I've wanted to be a famous writer. I wanted to be so successful that people stop me on the street and ask, "Oh my God, are you Julia Reyes, the best writer who has ever graced this earth?" All I know is that I'm going to pack my bags when I graduate and say, "Peace out, motherfuckers." But not Olga, Saint Olga, the perfect Mexican daughter.